Hello and welcome to This One Thing, a daily video devotional coming to you from First Presbyterian Church of Fort Lauderdale. And together we'll be looking at one text and choosing one thing for you to consider. And we hope that you find this a thought-provoking, encouraging part of your day. Our text today is similar in some ways to the last couple of days of texts that Pam and Patrick examined, the interaction between Jesus and Nicodemus, a member of the religious establishment. But today, the interaction happens between Jesus and a Samaritan woman, who's come to the well for water. Jesus is in this little Samaritan city, and he meets a woman, and in his interaction, he looks at her and tells her vulnerable details about her own life, details which were likely a cause for embarrassment and shame in her life, details about failed marriages and failed relationships. I'd like you to consider for a moment, when Christ looks at you, what are those details that he might call out? Most biblical scholars agree that the reason that the woman is at the well at noon is to avoid the crowds, her shame and her embarrassment around her marital failures are moving her into a practice of social distancing. Not to escape infection, of course, but rather to escape the gossip, to escape the knowing glances and the whispers of her community. How is the practice of social distancing going for you? I think it's helpful for us to remember that this practice of social distancing, it's not new. People socially distance. They put up barriers. They isolate themselves for a variety of reasons. And in fact, it's something that I believe goes on right in front of us without our even realizing it. Perry Cannon is the director of shared meals and mobile showers for Hope South Florida. Hope South Florida is one of our longtime ministry and mission partners here in Fort Lauderdale. It's an organization that seeks to serve those experiencing homelessness in our community through a number of services. And I was communicating with Perry regarding the needs of the Hope South Florida food pantry the other day, and he shared with me this story. Their team was wrapping up a meal service at one of their shared meal sites, and Perry was approached in the parking lot at the end of a meal by a middle-aged man who had come for dinner that night. And the man said to Perry, careful to keep a 6-foot distance, he said, "Thank you for the meal this evening." And by the way, the social distancing thing, this is nothing new to us on the street. It's our way of life with the outside world. Let that sit with you for a moment. This social distancing thing, it's nothing new to us on the street. It's our way of life with the outside world. What do we do with that? Perry offered, let it be a reminder of just how powerful loving community is and how powerful relationship is. Returning to our story from John, one of the powerful elements of this story is that Jesus goes on in the text to offer the woman this gift of living water. He offers her this gift of relationship, knowing the very thing which is pushing her to the margins. He offers her relationship even before she has the opportunity to confess. He knows the very thing about which she is most ashamed and offers her new life through relationship and community with him. And Christ does the same for us. Christ looks at that very thing in you and in me and still says, come and drink from the water that gives eternal life. Christ offers relationship. And how do you respond? How do you respond to that invitation? Let's take a look at how she responds. In verse 19, the woman said to him, Sir, I see that you are a prophet. Our ancestors worshipped on this mountain, but you say that the place where people must worship is in Jerusalem. Jesus said to her, Woman, believe me, the hour is coming when you will worship the Father neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem. He goes on to say, but the hour is coming and is now here when the true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and truth. For the Father seeks such as these to worship him. Jesus offers her relationship. Jesus offers her give and take, and she changes the subject to religion. She goes into talking about the dispute about where it is appropriate to worship. N.T. Wright, New Testament scholar, says that the woman reacts the way so many of us react when confronted with our stuff. We try and change the subject. Religion is a great way to do that. This woman wants to do the same thing. But Jesus doesn't want to talk about religion. Jesus wants to talk about relationship. Because here's the one thing, is that Christ looks at each of us in the midst of our stuff and invites us into relationship with him and with one another. Friends, let's not change the subject. Be safe, be well. We'll see you tomorrow.